great Thursday afternoon. Welcome to your 15 Minutes to Mastery, episode number 520, that we do each and every day to get you some information, inspiration, motivation so that you can go out and attack the day. And we're getting towards the end of the day. And I promised last week that I was going to get better at this, and it just has not worked out for me. I apologize, no excuses, but time we have been slammed. At the same time, we've been growing business, and at the same time, we're working on some major projects that have just taken up a lot of our time, my time, and especially being out on the road with clients. Man, I've got to dedicate the time. But anyway, I promise you, man, just hang with me here because in 2 to 3 weeks we have a major announcement coming, and you'll see where and what we've been up to. But anyway, today I want to talk to you about how to relate with your buyers. And all it takes is you thinking of how you would react. Okay. There is let me get this on here. I'm not sure why there you go. Rashid Ogularu writes, until you understand your customers deeply and genuinely, you cannot truly serve them. You see, I'm in the break room here at Mobile Home Master because it is slammed. Customers coming in and out. They've had closings. They've had new sales. It's crazy everything that is going on out here. So I'm excited to be a part of it and be here. My wife and I have been here all week long working together with them. And so she's the one who reminded me, like, hey, have you even done your 15 minutes to mastery? You know what? No, I have not. But wanted to come and talk to you about how to best relate with your buyers, because we've been talking about that with our clients all week this week with our training calls all week this week. Because you see, we talk about it all the time. You have to take your buyers through a certain process, right? They have to emotionally and mentally go through this process. But how are you going to be able to do that? The only way you can do that is by being able to relate to them. See, when you are relatable, when you can relate, when they feel that they relate to you, now it's easier to get them to go through that process that they need to go through. But there's too many of us out there have yet to figure out why creating that relation, creating that connection is so important. And when you can figure this thing out, when you can make sure that you are actually being relatable, now you're operating at a whole different level. Now you're building a bond, a connection, the trust that we're needed. I've been reading a book lately, Leaders Eat Last. And the information that I read yesterday, getting into the chemicals of the brain, chemicals of human chemicals, the hormones and whatnot, and how they affect your outcome in sales or in leadership or whatever it may be. And talk about endorphins and dopamine, right? Those chemicals that make us feel great, the shots of excitement and happiness and joy. But you see, those are short little bursts that you feel that overcome your body, that overcome your emotions. We talk about, you hear about it all the time with social media and how those engineers, man, they got people in there that specifically design the way those systems operate so that you're constantly getting those dopamine hits. But it also talks in that book about if you're constantly living off of dopamine hits, it actually has a negative effect on your body. Okay. Whereas what we need to be striving for is serotonin and oxytocin. Those are the feelings we get, the trust, the feelings that build trust, the feelings that build that connection, and the desire to truly come together as a team. Now that's something you're after in a location, right? Or in your community, between community managers and admin and everyone there. But you're also after it with your buyers. But see, that oxytocin and that serotonin, it takes time to develop. That trust takes time to develop. It's not something that you can do really quick. The dopamine, the endorphins, those are things when you're saying certain words, when you're asking certain questions, when you're making them feel certain things because they're thinking of these things. That's when they get those little shots. But what you want to be building throughout that is the trust, the connection. And what's the best way to be able to do that? You simply have to think of yourself. How do you respond better to new people in your life, to business opportunities, to when you go and buy something? What is the best approach for you to have trust for someone else? And if you're not the kind of person that is trusting, that is a detriment. Some people would say, well, I can't trust everybody because people are going to hurt me and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yes, you're right. However, when you go through life being that type of person, also talks about in the book, it actually has a negative effect on your body, your health. It's not something you feel immediately, but you will notice it in the long term. So the easiest way for you to be able to relate to your buyers is think, how would I like for this person to talk to me? How would I want to have these questions answered? If I were buying this or buying something that I was unaware of, what would I want that person to be telling me, explaining to me, really diving deep into educating me about? And now you need to go out and do the same thing. Now putting yourself in the scenario by understanding what would I really want that person that's just trying to ram my house down my throat? Would I really want that person who's just being salesy and using these tactics that just completely outdated and just don't respond to nowadays? Or would you prefer to be dealing with someone who, one, you knew had your best interests in mind, two, was professional enough and educated enough in what they do to be able to educate you and provide you the information, who took it upon themselves knowing that you probably had some doubts, some concerns, and actually addressed those things up front, made sure that you were good in what you were thinking to do. You see, most people, that's what they prefer. That's why when you hear people like myself or a Jeremy Miner or anyone else talking about the psychology behind sales and NPQ and things of that nature, it's because that's how we operate as human beings. And when you can do those things, when you can be that type of person, when you truly care and you truly want to relate, it will actually happen. You'll actually be able to serve more people. You'll actually accomplish the goals that you're after. Remember, it's a win, win, win. The customer wins, you win, the company wins. But when you're skipping steps and got horns going off in the parking lot and things of that nature, man, you know, that's where you have to be even more careful. You need to make sure you're not skipping the steps. You need to make sure that you're taking the time to build that connection, be relatable, help yourself come across as a truly professional and empathetic person that wants to serve your buyers. If you come at this from a servant's mentality, a servant leader's mentality, you will do more than just great things. But it starts with how you operate. Okay. So that's what we want. Man, there's been, you hear it all around out here, mobile master talent tech. It is crazy. That's what I love. I was in the other office earlier. My wife was in there and she's like, man, it's been loud. It's really loud around here. I said, that's what a sales office should be. It should be fun. It should be loud. It should be people doing great things, sales consultants handling people in certain ways, buyers coming in here and feeling good about what they're doing, people coming in and closing, just a constant flow of greatness. And you do that when you operate in the right way. It's no wonder why these guys were projecting over 18 homes for this month. When it all shakes and done, I think that shakes out. I think it'll be less than that. We're looking at it, but still, it is a 400, 500, 3, yeah, oh my God, about 500% increase on where they were when we first started working together. All because we're relatable. So, what are the benefits to being relatable? First and foremost, look, it increases the personalization. It helps the buyer because you're now personalizing the experience to them. So that's one of the great things. Next, you get increased customer loyalty. The more you're relatable, the less likely they are to go shop you, go somewhere else, and actually decide to do business somewhere else. You keep that customer with you through the finish line. How many times have you started a deal, you took a deal, you thought, I got this deal, only to have them cancel out on you, whether that same day or the next day or that week, all because you really didn't, you weren't relatable. It happens. This will help you with that. One, and then next thing, obviously, it's because you're more relatable. You have that customer loyalty. You're selling at a higher rate, so obviously you're going to fund more deals. You're going to fund more deals. And that means even more families served, more income in your pocket, more revenue for your company, more profits. Everybody wins. That's what the whole that's what everything is about lately that you hear in the news, right? Making sure that everybody is winning. That's why this tariffs and things of that nature, people may be freaked out. They don't understand business, don't understand what's going on, but that's okay. At the end of the day, all it's doing, increasing your wins. Everybody's middle class, lower class, high income, does not matter. Okay. So higher funding rates. Next, because you're operating better, because you're getting more business, because you're helping more families go all the way to the finish line, you also increase your referrals because those people are now going to be telling their friends, their families to go visit you. And lastly, because of that, you'll have a more satisfying and successful career. That's what we're after in manufactured home sales manager. We want to make sure that you are operating at a whole nother level. We want to make sure you are helping so many more families in your market. Does not matter what part of the country you're in. We want you to succeed. We want you to have a satisfying career. We want you to operate at an elite level because we're here to take your life, your business, your career, as you already know, upward, baby, upward. It starts with being relatable. So how can you best relate to your customer? Think about how you would prefer for things to go and actually make that happen. Now, just a little side note on that. Me, as far as business, I prefer no nonsense, just to the point. Tell me what it is. But that's me. Most of your buyers are going to want you to educate them. Most of your buyers are going to want you to slow down. Most of your buyers are going to be nervous and wanting you to help them through. So slow down. Think about them. Serve them. Lead them. Educate them. Change their lives. And you'll wind up changing yours. You guys have a great Thursday. We got some things to do still here before we call it a day. We hope that you've been having a great Thursday and you've been doing great things today. And I'm going to be in here tomorrow morning, in the morning, 8:15 a.m. I promise you, tomorrow, 8:15 a.m. We'll be coming in with another 15 minutes of mastery. So you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. We're back in here again tomorrow with another episode. And as always, my friends, until then, I can't wait to meet you.